We are going live, I think. Yeah. I never use full screen, but I am now. So much better.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's do this. Let's talk about some movies we're anticipating. What's the title of this episode? What do we got up here? Love Breathe Film episode 98. You can edit it, right? If you can't, no big deal.
Yeah, no, I can.
Let's do most anticipated films of 2024.
Murph, there's a new feature now in StreamYard that you need to know about that Doug found.
What's that?
You can now smooth out your face.
Oh, no, I found that. We talked about it before.
Did we?
Doug might not have been on at the time, but I
talked about
it looks
I
so.
talked about it with at least one of you, and
It's so noticeable on Doug. I don't know why.
Well, it gives you the options of different levels of
Right.
smoothing.
Yeah, like.
But
I was
Corey did it.
I was like, this will look
could...
ridiculously fake if
It's not that noticeable for me. Like, it actually looks kind of believable. I have it on now, but
I'm not in full screen, so I can't see like how noticeable it is for Doug. Like, he looks just normal now.
I just turned it off. That's why.
All right. No wonder you look like the Doug I've known for quite a while now. But yes, I was
I turned it on.
I disagree with using I don't know if it's fake Botox or whatever the fuck we want to call it.
Smooth out the
Yeah.
It
wrinkles.
like completely gets rid of my cheeks. Like it's just like a blur.
Photoshop to the max.
Yeah,
you gotta smooth out the wrinkles, right?
I guess so.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Shall we begin?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it then. Welcome to Liberty Film, everyone. This is episode 98. You're here with Corey, Doug, and Murph. Thank you for joining us. Today, we'll be running through each of our most anticipated films of 2024. It's kind of a collaboration where we're going to break it down into a few tiers based on all of our individual lists. We'll tell you where we put them on our individual lists, but we'll also primarily be going through them as one big entity for LBF's most anticipated films of 2024. So what we'll do right now, we'll start with our tier 3 films. These are 7 films that only appeared on one of each of our lists. And then we're going to start from the film that was the lowest ranked on all of them and on any of our lists and move on up to number 1 to kind of give you an idea or kind of gauge how excited we are. There were some tiebreakers where if a movie was only where it was tied in where it was ranked on 2 different lists, we had the other person break that tie. And we can talk about that when we get to it as well. But ultimately, we're going to be talking about 16 films on here. If my math is correct. I believe it's correct. It is correct. And let's start with our tier 3 films right now. So I believe, Corey, you had our number 7 film of tier 3. So break it down for us.
Yeah, so I went with the Bike Riders. It's supposed to come out last year, and then it got pushed because of the strike, the SAG-AFTRA strike, all the strikes. But
I had that drafted last fall.
You did.
I lost it.
Not
that it mattered. I'm still gonna lose this, but that's regardless.
So this is starring Tom Hardy and Austin Butler, and then
Jodie Comer.
Yeah, Jodie Comer. I'm trying to remember who else is in it.
A lot of people. Like Norman Reedus, I know is one of them.
Yeah.
I don't know, but you can pull up the cast list. It's a stacked cast, but
yeah,
the poster goes Jodie Comer, Austin Butler, and Tom Hardy. So they're the top billed people. Mike Faced from West Side Story and Challengers, I know he's in it.
Michael Shannon is in it.
Okay,
apparently.
Michael Shannon. He's in all Mike Nichols movie. Yeah, he's like a Mike Nichols, like guaranteed to be in one of his movies. Or not Mike Nichols. Mike Nichols is the other director. Who's the director of the Bike Riders?
Jeff
Nichols. Jeff Nichols. Yeah. No, Mike Nichols is the Graduate. Yes, he's in all of Jeff Nichols' films.
Yes. So, and this follows a biker gang. It seems like kind of like the Sons of Anarchy movie that we never got in a way. Just with a lot of these really well-known actors. I think it takes place in the 70s, right? 60s or 70s.
Yeah, I think it like spans a decade or so.
So yeah, it follows this gang. The trailer's kind of playing 1965. It starts. So yeah, it spans like Murph said, a decade probably. And I don't think it's not based on a true story, right?
It's based on some sort of photo book of bike riders back in the day. Like that's what was used as inspiration. Okay. I don't know how much of it's a true story or just how much is elements pulled from it. But I know it is at least inspired by history.
But when I saw this trailer last year, it looked very strong. And I think like early previews of the movie were pretty strong when it was still supposed to come out last year. So this is still on my list. It looks like it could be like a standout. I mean, Jodie Comer to begin with, awesome. So it's got such a stacked cast. And
yeah, I've heard she's the highlight from people who have seen it.
Not even surprised. So this one is like continue to be on my list. Definitely up my alley.
Yeah, from the films I've seen in the past from Jeff Nichols, strong filmmaker. So I am absolutely excited to see this one as well. And I think it comes out right around your birthdays. Comes out in early June, if I'm not mistaken.
It's crazy it got pushed back that far.
It changed distributors too.
Really?
It was originally coming out from, I believe, Searchlight, and is now coming out from Focus.
Wow.
So that Disney sold it during after they initially delayed it. Yeah. I don't know. I guess they don't see it as a movie that'll make a ton of money. Like, doesn't mean it's not a good movie. It's already screened at festivals and everything, so we know like the quality of the film. I guess they're just not confident in its box office prospects.
It came across as something maybe it wouldn't win like the big prestigious awards, but it would definitely at least get nominated for some of the performances. It's very well
good this year with it being the strike-addled year, so we'll see. But all right, what do we got then for number 6 for tier 3? Doug, this one is on you. This was a tiebreaker, I believe. I broke the tie between the bike riders and this film. Talk about number 6.
Number 6 is Ghostbusters. I guess there is no but there should be the Ghostbusters Frozen Kingdom. This is the sequel to the new Ghostbusters movie with Paul Rudd and children. Which I don't remember. The kid from Stranger Things. Yeah, the kid from Stranger Things.
Lucky Domingo, and I can't remember the podcast actor's name in real life. Oh yeah, and then the one who plays Egon's granddaughter.
Something Z.
Yeah, it's something Z. We should pull up cast lists forward for the movies we're talking about. Fact checking or just typing something else?
McKenna Grace.
McKenna Grace. There we go.
Yeah, it was like Mackenzie. I knew that wasn't right. All right. Yeah, so it's the sequel to that movie. What excites me about this is they're like back in New York. It seems like from the trailers, although who the hell knows, that the OG cast is going to be more involved, but that could just be good trailer cutting, and then they've got the was he a mayor? What was the guy from Ghostbusters?
He was head
Commissioner?
of the EPA.
He was the
Environmental-
commissioner of the
Or no, like head of the Environmental Protection.
Environmental Protection Agency.
EPA.
Now he looks like he's the mayor in this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Walter
so-
Peck.
That's the vibe I got from the trailer.
Walter
Yeah,
Peck.
so it looks like Walter
Yes.
Peck is but the character's back. I don't know if he's gonna be.
Played by 80s asshole William Atherton still.
Don't know if he's still gonna be a dick or not.
Oh, he will.
Pro-
He will be a giant dick.
Even though, like, if you think about it, like he should have learned from his mistake because he like fucked over the city back in the original Ghostbusters. But whatever. But anyway,
it's kinda like the
they're
whole
back.
city was like neuralized, like Men in Black. Like, why do people not like remember like this major
A
event
giant
that took
Stay
place?
Puft Marshmallow Man.
Yeah.
Too much
The
time has
seemingly
passed.
been forgotten over the 40 years.
40 years has just passed, and people just
Yeah.
forget about it.
Yeah, you would think it would be like never forget like what happened to New York
Yeah,
with the
exactly.
Stay Puft Marshmallow Man destroyed, and I'm sure like people died
I would have to imagine.
Yeah.
because he was
A lot.
he was- yeah.
I imagine people
So-
drowned in the exploding Stay Puffs even.
Yeah, probably. But anyway, just like the going back to New York, they've got even more people from the original. Sigourney Weaver, I think, is going to have a decent sized part.
Well, I've heard she's not in it, so we're hearing conflicting things. I hope
Didn't
she's
she
in it.
say she wasn't in it though?
She said she wasn't in it, and she's not on the Wikipedia page. I tend to trust Wikipedia, even though anyone can like get it.
But I'm pretty sure I heard from Andrew Garfield that he wasn't going to be in.
Andrew Garfield?
No, Andrew Garfield said he wasn't going to be in No Way Home, and he appeared.
Yeah,
You're
you
right.
can't trust the actors. They're not supposed to spoil like those cameo surprises. So
I
I don't
didn't
believe a
understand
word.
the connection. I was like, Andrew Garfield's in Ghostbusters Frozen Kingdom?
Yeah.
No, just
Or Frozen
actors
Empire, sorry. Frozen Kingdom.
lie.
Yeah, shut up.
It is Frozen Kingdom. You're
Oh,
right.
Oh no, it's Empire.
It is.
Oh, is it? You
That's
wrote
what I'm saying.
Kingdom. Oh no, I wrote Kingdom.
And then I copied it. Or
I'm
maybe
looking at the IMDb and I corrected myself.
Oh man.
Okay, so there are only multiple Kingdom movies coming out this year, or multiple Empire movies and one Kingdom movie coming out this year.
Frozen
Not three.
Kingdom wouldn't really make sense, would it?
And then there's the New Empire, or whatever the fuck the Godzilla and Kong movie is called.
Yeah.
Okay.
But anyway,
Yeah.
getting back to Ghostbusters, I think it's gonna be like I just think the New York setting that they're bringing back even more from the original movies. I think it'll be a fun time. Slimer's back. Looks like the librarian's back. They're
Yeah, they got some classic ghosts. I'm hyped for
Lots of-
Janine with a proton pack.
oh yeah. Yeah, that makes me think they still got some surprises up their sleeve.
But
we'll see.
yeah. Lucky Domingo is the character, not the actress's name. The actress's name is Celeste O'Connor, and the podcast is played by Logan Kim. So you got basically everyone that's returning from that town that was in Ghostbusters Afterlife, and then you've got basically everyone from 1984. The only exceptions being, at the moment, Sigourney Weaver and Rick Moranis, who was not in Afterlife by choice.
Yeah.
Likely by choice here, unless he's surprised,
Sigourney-
which would be amazing.
Sigourney was in Afterlife, just on
Sigourney
that
was-
cameo.
Yeah, she popped up at the end, like poked
To
the
do like
credits scene.
throwback to the first one with the cards.
Yep, and they're married now, like canon wise, right? Her and Bankman.
It seemed that way, yeah.
Yeah. I can't remember if they like officially like said it, but it seemed that way. But yeah, no, I wasn't excited for this movie really at all based on the first trailer and the them talking about how it being more like a Ghostbusters like episode of the TV show. Like that was like major inspiration. But the second trailer did a lot for me. So I'm looking forward to it again.
I didn't
Yeah.
realize that Jason Reitman wasn't directing this. I thought he was.
Yeah,
No,
he's,
he
he's
co-wrote it.
busy working on his Saturday Night Live movie, about the first season of the show.
So isn't it like the first episode?
Yeah, maybe it's even. Yeah, I think it is just the first episode.
Is it like Chevy Chase?
It's like a fictional movie with all
fictional.
actors playing characters.
Got it.
All actors playing the actors on Saturday Night Live. New actors. Cool. All right. Then let's get into number 5, which is also you, Doug.
Yeah, so this is Empire of no, I'm just kidding, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. Yeah, I mean, so it's a new. I guess it looks like the attempt here is that we finished the Planet of the Apes prequel trilogy, and now we're kicking off potentially like a new trilogy that takes place post Caesar. I just like these movies. I mean, hopefully they can still have and retain the quality of the prequel trilogy. New director. I mean, I think everybody's new, right? The screenplay. I don't think any of these people wrote.
I think a couple of the co-writers of this film wrote some of the other ones in the prequel trilogy.
Okay.
But they might be in like a reduced capacity. Like maybe they did the rewrites or they did the original draft. It's one or the other.
Yeah. The trailer I thought was intriguing. And I'm interested to see. I mean, I'm assuming the goal is to eventually get back to the first movie.
I mean, they set up Planet of the Apes in Rise of the Planet of the Apes. So you got to eventually get to that end game.
Yeah. So I'm just interested to see how they pull it off. And I mean, the animation and everything looks as great as always. And yeah, I'm just kind of interested to see how that story continues to play out.
You excited, Corey?
Not excited, but I am motivated to now go back and watch all of the movies that I've missed in this series, which is everyone except for the first one. And I don't even remember the first one, so I'm going to watch all of them.
Hey, you should do that. It was a very solid trilogy.
Yeah. It's way overdue. It's been on my to-do list for quite a long time. When is this one coming out?
This one comes out in May, right around Memorial Day.
So I have a little bit of time.
Or they might have pushed it up 2 weeks. I don't know. We should probably be providing these details when we're talking about these films. Frozen Empire comes out March 22nd, since I have that open at the moment. Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. And what is this? Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes? Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes comes
Empire.
out. Yeah, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes did recently just move up a couple weeks. It's coming out May 10th, 2024. And the Bike Riders comes out on June 21st. It's the middle of June, towards the end of June.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting, right? See how that franchise can continue on. I mean, I don't think Matt Reeves is involved at all, right?
No, he's busy with Batman.
Oh yeah, he directed. Did he direct all 3?
The sequels. Okay. He didn't direct the first one. But yeah, I think Rick and Amanda Silver are the ones that they wrote Rise, Dawn, and War. Or no, they didn't write War. They were producers on War. And they did write Kingdom and produce Kingdom. And this guy, Jeff Friedman, the 3 of them are all like big writers on the Avatar sequels. For this one, FYI. I think 2 of them were like co-writers with Cameron on Avatar 3, and one of them is a co-writer on Avatar 4.
Interesting.
Yeah. Avatar, I don't think it was Way of Water. That the 2 of them. Oh no, correction. Rick Jaff and Amanda Silver co-wrote Way of Water. So that's why they did not write War of the Planet of the Apes, because they were definitely busy with The Way of Water at that time. And now they're back to writing Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. with one of their Avatar brethren. So yeah,
That's promising.
that is promising. Because I'm not really looking forward to this. Otherwise, I'm disappointed in the post Andy Serkis world. But we'll see what they could do. It takes place nearly 300 years after War for the Planet of the Apes, so it's way after Caesar. But I am interested to seeing if they ever catch up to the setup in Rise of the Planet of the Apes of the spaceship going off and then eventually making it into the future, and then some new actor playing Charlton Heston / Mark Wahlberg somewhere down the line. But oh yeah, and Corey, are you excited for Ghostbusters? And Doug, are you excited for the Bike Riders? Since I don't think either of you talked about those ones.
Ghostbusters, I'm more excited. I'm kind of on the same wavelength as you. Like, I wasn't really excited after the first trailer. The second one got me a little more amped up. I'm still not like excited for it, but I'm cautiously optimistic, I guess.
Okay, cool.
Because I didn't love Afterlife, but that's one I want to return to and see if I like it more the second time around.
Fair enough. Doug, you have any thoughts about the Bike Riders? Any interest in seeing it based on the trailer?
No, I'll probably check it out
You'll watch it on streaming someday.
when it hits like HBO Max or
Yeah,
one of those.
and not a platform that doesn't even exist anymore.
Yeah,
With HBO Max.
Whatever. Yeah, I forgot they got rid of the HBO part.
It's cleaner now.
Yeah, just Max. Yeah, I mean, I'll watch it at some point probably if it gets good reviews, but it's not something I'm like gonna race out to theaters to watch.
Fair enough. All right. Number 4 and 3, those are both coming from Corey. So let's hear what you got.
Yeah, so
In
number
tier 3.
Yeah, in tier 3. Number 4 was Alien Romulus. So it's a prequel that takes place in between Alien and Aliens, directed by Fede Alvarez, who directed Evil Dead, the original remake from 2000.
2013.
Yeah, I was going to say like 2010, but that makes sense. 2013. So I'm assuming it's going to be very horror, more horror than centric than the last Ridley Scott movies, which were, I mean, I like them, but they're weird. And this one starring everyone's favorite Dora the Explorer. What is there? Isabella Mercade. I think that's her name. She was in. I think she played Dora.
Yeah, she did
the live
play,
action.
She did play Dora the Explorer. Yeah, it's got her and Kaylee Spaney from
Priscilla.
Priscilla.
So this we don't know anything about this movie other than that it takes place in between those two movies and it's directed by Fede Alvarez. There's really no other information, no synopsis. Obviously,
we know Ridley Scott likes it and he's producing it.
I didn't even know that. That's awesome.
I mean, if he was producing it and he said he didn't like it, there'd be problems. But yeah, now he is a producer on the film. So it'll definitely still be in the Prometheus timeline as well, since he's involved. But like you said, it takes place in between Ridley's Alien and James Cameron's Aliens. And yeah, that's all we know.
So, I mean, this is supposed to come out, I think, in the middle of August. Yeah,
August
16th.
Yep.
So we'll probably start seeing something having to do with this over the next probably few months, hopefully.
Yeah, we should see something fairly soon. And yeah, this was close to being on my list. I'm a sucker for the Alien movies. Even no matter how many times it disappoints, I still go back for more. But I love Don't Breathe and his 2013 Evil Dead I was a fan of. So I'm excited to see this one. And the idea of it being set in between the first two films has me very excited. along with seeing more of Kaylee Spaney as an actress, since I liked her quite a bit in Priscilla.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
Doug, you give any shits about Alien anymore, or
Not really.
you checked out at
I
this
think
point?
yeah, Prometheus kind of left like a bad taste in my mouth, so they'd have to come back strong for me to check it out. Otherwise, I'm kind of like checked out until someone tells me there's a reason to check back in.
That's fair.
I imagine, like I said, this one with who's directing and writing it, imagine it's going to be very similar to like the first one. It'll be like a straight up like horror aliens movie,
Yeah,
which we haven't gotten in a
I
long
imagine
time.
that's what we're getting. We kind of got that with Alien Covenant, kind of, but then there was lots of like also being a direct sequel to Prometheus.
Weird
Uh,
David.
yeah, so
David's.
I think we're gonna get the closest thing to an Alien movie since Alien Resurrection, which just unfortunately was a shitty movie, but it was an Alien movie. But in the vein of like Alien 3, Alien Resurrection. Not so much Aliens, because it looks like the cast list is pretty small, so I don't think we're getting the Crazy 4 type of movie that James Cameron brought us. All right, so let's get to the number 3 movie on our tier 3 list. Corey, this is you again.
So number 3 is Terrifier 3. The now very successful soon to be horror trilogy, slasher trilogy, starring Art the Clown. I'm sure a lot of people have at least seen this character just on social media. These movies are very violent, but the sequel ended up being, it came out of nowhere for a lot of people, because it had like a great story, great characters. It took the very hollow original movie and kind of like built this, really great mythology around it, that they're continuing to build with this one. So the cast, all relative no names, but they're all returning from the second one, and it's a Christmas movie, which has me really excited because you don't see that very often. So, and the second one was a blast, and Murph and I saw it in theaters back when it came out.
Rowdy crowd.
It was a rowdy crowd, but it was
back in
fun.
October of 2022.
Yeah.
No, the second one came out of nowhere. I think it was supposed to be like a one night release, like one showing or two showings, or 1 week. I ended up playing for weeks and weeks. Cost like basically nothing. It was funded by crowds, and now they've got a decent sized budget for this next one of $2 million, which is substantially more than the budget of the second one, which was substantially more than the budget of the first one, even though they got a lot out of the hundreds of thousands of dollars that was crowdfunded for the second one, and I guess it was like what was the first film made for, like under 100,000. It's like dirt cheap, but I mean these movies are not for the squeamish. I mean, so much buzz from the second one was people like vomiting and stuff, like perhaps fainting and having to be like escorted out of the theater, and it was just ridiculous. The stories that came out around the movie, and it definitely helped with the buzz. So it'll be interesting to see like what type of opening weekend this one can have, because I'm sure the notoriety of the film has grown even more over the past 2 years.
Yeah, not to mention like Art the Clown. Like I've run into so many people that like they recognize the character, but they've never seen the movie. They're like, "Oh, that's that clown from that horror movie." That so they're definitely doing the right thing. This one could be like an even bigger breakout than the second one, but it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, and Doug, I know you're one person who will not be going to see this film.
Nope. Haven't seen any of the Terrifiers, and Nothing about it has piqued my interest in any way, so I will not be going to see that.
That's fair. Let's move on then to another clown, which, Doug, you are actually the tiebreaker for this, as our tier three, number 3 and 2 movies were initially tied. Doug broke the tie, but the clown at number 2 is Arthur Fleck in Joker Folie. This is the sequel to 2019's Oscar-winning Joker, directed by Todd Phillips. As anyone who knows anything about cinema is aware, Joker 2019 was very much inspired by Martin Scorsese's Taxi Driver and The King of Comedy. This one is going in a completely different direction and is a musical. So I've heard that it's inspired by films such as Scorsese's New York, New York, one of Francis Ford Coppola's films in the early 80s. Should have pulled this up. I know there were 2 films that weren't even very successful, but neither was King of Comedy. So, One from the Heart was the other one that I've heard it's inspired by Francis Ford Coppola. So it's continuing to have incredibly strange influences for these films. But this one's bringing in Lady Gaga as Harley Quinn. Zazie Beetz is coming back from the first film. And as far as I know, they're the only 3 characters we know who they're playing, but Brendan Gleeson's in the cast as well, Catherine Keener, Steve Coogan, Ken Leung. So interesting cast. I wasn't a massive fan of the first movie. When I saw it, when I first saw it the first time, I was just not much. I was like, okay, I respect what you tried to do, but didn't really have many thoughts on it after that. Then it was nominated for all the Academy Awards, won a bunch of them, won Best Score, won Best Actor for Joaquin Phoenix. I went back and watched it maybe a year ago, and I enjoyed it quite a bit more than enjoy, maybe being the wrong word, but I guess respected it more and got more out of it. Appreciated what Todd Phillips did with a comic book character. This isn't your traditional Joker. So many actors have interpreted the character in different ways, whether it's in the comic books or the movies, TV shows, video games, etc. But this was still a very different interpretation. And I'm just interested to see what the fuck he brings to this one. And really see, even more so, seeing what Lady Gaga brings to Harley Quinn. We've seen Margot Robbie play the character now a bunch of times on the screen, but I expect Gaga to do it much differently, and especially if it's a musical, see what she can bring to the box office, because she did wonders with A Star Is Born. What can she do now to level up Joker, or is this going to be a movie where comic book fatigue and the musical elements actually hurt the film? With audiences, but yeah, we don't know much other than the fact that they'll definitely be shit set at Arkham, and we've seen a few photos that Todd Phillips has put out, but yeah, same writers and directors as the original, so we'll see what it has to do, or what it has to say come October 4th later this year. Same spot that the first one opened in 5 years earlier.
I wonder when they'll start the marketing push with this one. If we'll get a trailer relatively soon, like a teaser, or if they'll wait.
Not a big budget film. I could see them waiting a bit to get a little bit further away from the DCEU, and then just kind of go off starting in the summer. But anything's possible, I guess. Either of you two have any interest in this one?
I'm definitely interested. I don't know if I'm excited for it, but I'm very, very interested to see what it's all about. The first one, I still don't love. Again, like I think I'm more like I respect it more now after seeing it a second time after seeing it in theaters. But it's not a movie that I'm like, damn, I like that movie a lot. It's not something
Yeah.
I really want to watch frequently.
It's not your comfort movie.
No, definitely not my comfort movie. And I have movies that are comfort movies that are not happy movies. This one just, I can't even put my finger on it. Why it just didn't resonate with me the way I thought it would have. I don't know, but I'm
I mean,
definitely
it's a fucking bleak movie.
Yeah, but I like those types of movies. And I watch bleak movies frequently. I don't know. Can't really say. But
Yeah.
definitely very, very curious to see what the hell this movie is about, especially it being a musical. I can't wrap my head around it.
Yeah, I'm also in the camp. I didn't really love the Joker. As a movie, I mean, I thought it like took too much from Taxi Driver, where it felt like almost more of a ripoff than being inspired by it. So that kind of rubbed me the wrong way. But this looks so different, and it's got Lady Gaga, so I'm definitely intrigued. That if this was just like a traditional sequel, I think I'd be probably
I don't
less
think
interested.
they'd bother making it if it was
Yeah.
just a traditional sequel.
So the fact
I
that
didn't.
it's not, and it's also inspired by some things that I've never even heard of before, like that movie that you named.
Yeah. Yeah, like that's one of the two Scorsese movies I've never seen, and one of and a Coppola movie I've never seen, and I only heard of it fairly recently.
Yeah, I'd never even heard of it, so I may feel less that way. I also could give Joker another chance, and maybe I'm being too harsh on how much it took, but I remember when I saw it, I was like, this
See it
kind of
again
feels a
before
lot like Taxi
October.
Driver.
Oh yeah, with 100%. I mean, it very much had Taxi Driver on one sleeve and King of Comedy on another sleeve. So I know that lots of criticism for the fact that it was so similar to both those films, which is understandable.
Yeah, it kind of feels like Fast Car and how like that song is now like popular.
Oh yeah.
And just like it's just like a generation. Like I don't think a lot of people saw Taxi Driver. Like a lot of folks. So like
Definitely, and a lot of
you
comic
know,
book fans are not seeing Taxi Driver.
yeah. So it might be like a first time being like exposed to that material and all that. So I don't know.
100%. Okay. Well, thank you both, and then let's get into our final film of Tier 3. This is number 1. Doug, you had it on your list.
Yeah, it's Mickey 17, which currently doesn't have a release date. It was supposed to come out in March, and then they pushed it. I think Godzilla times Kong took that spot.
It did. Yeah, it was indefinitely delayed due to the SAG-AFTRA strike and delays in post-production. And then, like you
Yeah,
said,
and I think
Godzilla X Kong: The New Empire took its slot.
I'd be surprised if
Talk about a downgrade for film
yeah,
fans.
I'd be surprised if the fact that or I would guess if this had a release date in 2024 and I didn't kind of cheat by putting it in here, that it probably would have been at least on one of your lists, if not both of your lists.
Yeah, I was very close to putting it on my list, even though it doesn't have a release date. Because I'm hyped to see Bong's follow up to Parasite.
Yeah, so it's like as you said, the director is Bong Joon-ho, who's previously directed Parasite, starring Robert Pattinson. It's got Mark Ruffalo, Stephen Yeun, Toni Collette. I mean, cast just sounds great. The concept is sci-fi, which also I'm a sci-fi fan, so that's why I think this was higher on my list, because I think the plot is essentially that Robert Pattinson is some sort of like space explorer colonizer, but like he dies and gets like reborn as a clone, and I guess that's happened 17 times if I had to guess, and that's why it's called Mickey 17.
Yeah.
So it feels very much like kind of reminds me of like a Moon plot with like Sam Rockwell. I don't know if anyone's ever seen that.
Yep.
Which I really enjoyed that movie. So it feels like it's kind of got that vibe, and then just Robert Pattinson being in the lead role.
It's got like Moon / like Snowpiercer like type vibes.
Yeah.
Was a Bong movie as well.
Yeah, so just kind of like seems really cool. I have this is probably one of my most into like definitely on the higher side of my list, assuming it comes out this year.
Yeah. Now my guess is they're waiting and like it'll be like be premiering at festivals and be like an awards type movie for Warner Brothers this year, which they've got a ton of nerdy like award bait movies this year, like between Dune, Furiosa, Mickey 17, and Joker. All of those could potentially be in play for award season next year.
Yeah.
But yeah, Corey, you were you too familiar with this one beforehand, or
Yeah, no, I've
we
been.
talked about it?
Yeah, no, we've talked about it. I've definitely been following it. It's definitely on my anticipated list. As far as as a whole. I wasn't sure with the release date, but it's definitely one that I'm looking forward to. Cast is sick. Director, writer, it's awesome. I like his other movies, so
Yeah,
I hope this one comes out this year because the concept is very neat.
for sure. All right, so yeah, that's wraps it up for tier 3. So as we mentioned, the 7 films on here were each on only one of our lists. The Bike Riders was number 9 on Corey's list. Ghostbusters: Frozen Kingdom was number 9 on Doug's list. Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes was number 8 on Doug's list. Alien Romulus was number 6 on Corey's list. Terrifier 3 was number 5 on Corey's list. Joker Folie was number 5 on my list. And Mickey 17 was number 4 on Doug's list. So now let's get into our tier 2 films. We have 4 films. Nope, that's 3 fingers. We have 4 films on our tier 2 list. To be on the tier 2 list, you had to be on 2 of our respective top 10 lists for most anticipated films of 2024. So I guess we can start right now with Gladiator 2, which was on both Doug and my list. Doug, you had it at number 7, and I had it at number 9. So we'll let you kick off the conversation since you had it higher than I did.
Yeah, I mean, this is on my list because Gladiator is probably one of my favorite like guilty pleasure movies, in that it's just like it's like a great action movie with.
You don't have to feel guilty about it. It's a fucking great movie.
Yeah, but it's just like it's kind of like how I feel about like Braveheart and like some of those other ones where it's just like an enjoyable watch where you just kind of get amped about
2 best picture winners that you just called out.
Yeah, it's just one of those movies that like amp you up. It's not like necessarily like a cinephile movie or anything like that. The plot's fairly basic.
It's very much a dad movie.
Yeah, but it just like Ridley Scott returning to this world again, I think is really cool. It sucks that Hans Zimmer's not back, but I'm assuming
what's the deal with that? Do we have Harry Gregson Williams doing the music? Huh. I guess team related, maybe.
Maybe. I'm assuming that they'll still kind of take from the Hans Zimmer score because it's so iconic.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Ridley Scott's been hit or miss. I'm hoping this is going to be a hit for him. And then, it's got my boy Paul Mescal, who I think is really great.
I
think that
he's the lead role for Lucius.
Yeah, I think his star is going to continue to rise. You got Pedro Pascal, who's in everything. Denzel Washington, just it seems like a good cast. You got Ridley Scott back. I don't think Russell Crowe's involved at all, right?
No, he's not.
Yeah, I mean, it would have been cool if they got him back, but I don't know. I guess he's dead in that world, so he'd be like a ghost, and it'd be like, wow, ghost got like fat and old. So it'd be kind of weird.
Why does he have a completely different accent now?
Yeah, what's that Greek accent that he had there? Yeah, so I'm just excited for it. I'm hoping that Ridley Scott is able to capture what he captured in the first one, but I know it's going to be a challenge.
Yeah, it looks like Hans Zimmer is busy with this year Dune 2, Kung Fu Panda 4, and Mufasa the Lion King. So my guess is Mufasa the Lion King is the one that was causing trouble, which is a shame. I mean,
Yeah, it would have been great.
It's probably a tough decision for him because like Lion King is one of his most iconic scores as well. But it would have been cooler if he came back too.
That's one of my favorite
Gladiator.
scores of all time is that Hans Zimmer Gladiator score. It's definitely up there.
Yeah. No, it's a killer score. But yeah, I don't know if you might have said this, but Connie Nielsen's coming back as Lucilla, Lucius's mom and Commodus's sister. Derek Jacobi's coming back. He was a member of the Roman Senate in the original film. For some reason, I thought it was confirmed that Djimon Hounsou was coming back, but I don't see him on the list of actors anymore. Maybe something happened where he had to back out.
Yeah, I thought he was in it
because of the strikes and everything like that.
Oh, Joseph Quinn's in this movie. I didn't see that.
Yeah, Pedro Pascal, Denzel, fucking stacked cast.
Yeah, that's a good cast.
It's going to be hard for them to do a sequel. Like, it's going to be tough doing a sequel without Maximus. But, I mean, Ridley Scott and doing a Swords and Sandals epic, like, fucking, I'm sold right there. It's going to have some amazing battle scenes, guaranteed. Like you, I'm a huge fan of the 2000 film. I never thought a sequel was actually going to happen. And many years, I thought it was a ridiculous concept doing a sequel to Gladiator. But at this point, fuck it. I'm in. They've got too many pros not for me to be in on this one.
How much you want to bet they would have had the sequel been closer in time? They would have found a way to be like Maximus didn't die.
I mean, yeah, right. Didn't they have one fucking plot line or one script at one point where Maximus was going to be fighting in hell?
No, I mean, I didn't hear that, but
I didn't
it's possible.
Hear that. That's wild if they did.
Pretty sure like that existed at one point.
But he was in the Elysian Fields. What happened?
Oh yeah, it did. It at one point. The singer musician Nick Cave.
Oh wow.
He was commissioned to write a new draft of the script. It was later revealed to be written under the working title of Christ Killer. Cave described the plot as a deity versus humanity story. The premise involved Maximus in purgatory, not hell, who was resurrected as an immortal, eternal warrior for the Roman gods. Insane.
It's kind of feels like a God of War type of plot.
Written by musician Nick Cave.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow.
This was around 2006. So
I'd love to see that movie. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, that was when you were going to get Russell Crowe back. Back when he was working with Ridley Scott all the time with American Gangster and Good Year and a bunch of other things.
And he looked more like
Robin Hood. Yeah, like he could like fit the part. He looked more Maximus than he does in 2024.
Yeah.
But hey, he got to play Zeus. He got to play a god at least, so it all worked out in the end for Russell Crowe.
Yeah.
All right. Then let's get into Corey. We saw Gladiator together back in the year 2000.
Yeah.
In the year 2000, I feel like Conan O'Brien. So you're obviously looking forward to it, even if it wasn't on your list.
Definitely looking forward to it. I need to rewatch Gladiator. I know we were watching we watched the original, like 6 months ago. I caught only the end of it. So I need to go back and like watch it from the beginning. It's been a very, very long time, probably a decade since I've seen it.
It holds up.
At least.
It's gonna be tough not having the killer performances by Joaquin Phoenix and Russell Crowe, but
Mhm.
this cast is super solid, so they should be able to pull their own weight. All right, let's go to our number 3 film of tier 2. I have this film as my number 8 pick, and Corey, you had it as your number 7, so I will let you talk about Civil War first.
Sure. So Civil War is it's another film, the last film for now, written and directed by Alex Garland. Ex Machina, Men,
Annihilation. We wrote 28 Days Later.
Yep.
Sunshine. Some big movies.
Yeah, very divisive director and writer. A lot of his stuff usually gets people talking. They're very thought-provoking. This one is specifically about a basically like apocalyptic like a war that ends up happening on American soil, like a civil war. And it stars Kirsten Dunst. I'm trying to think who else is in it. Haley Spaney is in it.
Jesse Plemons, Nick Offerman as the President of the United States.
Yep. No one else is sticking out, but
Stephen McKinley Henderson from Dune.
So, seems like very much an action movie. Very different than Garland's most recent movies, especially with Men. Men was just like a weird, like horror. I don't even know what I would call it. Weird movie. This looks like it's going to be very much a straight up action movie. Around that setting. Very excited for it. I think it looks really powerful and topical, I think.
Yeah. While he didn't direct it, I would say the scope of it is like the biggest of something he's written since 28 Days Later.
Yeah. I can see that.
And like looking pretty epic. I mean, you're also dealing with a dystopia to a degree, but yeah, I mean, the movie is about a second civil war in the U.S. between the federal government and the separatist Western forces led by Texas and California. Yeah, I mean, it's A24's biggest budget film that they put out to date. Hits
more
theater.
Than Beau Was Afraid, right?
Yeah, now it's got a $50 million budget. Hits theaters April 12th. I mean, Death Stranding will definitely cost more when they do make that. But for now, it is their biggest budget film. So definitely a timely film in an election year. Also, semi-ridiculous that Texas and California would choose to unite. But that's what science fiction is all about. Science fiction, action. Future dystopia films. Doesn't have to be true, 100% true to real life and current situations. But yeah, no, I'm excited based on the writer, director, the cast, A24, basically all of the concept, basically everything about it. Once I saw the trailer, I'm like, yep, I'm in. This movie looks really cool and terrifying at the same time. Jesse Plemons looks like fucking creepy as hell. That dude can do creepy like the best of them, and just Nick Offerman being the president of the United States, like the cherry on top. Since he's the president of like a dystopian dictatorship, and I don't know, it's like Ron Swanson going to like his worst self possible. But yeah, no, I'm hyped for this film. Doug, do you have any anticipation for this one?
Nope. A little too like real for me.
Fair enough. That I do when I did draft it. Part of me worries like, is this too much? Like The Purge obviously worked for people many times, but will a civil war work in a world where many people in the United States think a second civil war will happen? And some clearly eagerly are anticipating one. So yes, it might be considered too real for people. That'll be interesting to see when it comes out. But
April 12th.
since we haven't gotten to that Civil War yet, I'm still excited for the film. And yes, April 12th. We didn't mention Gladiator 2's release date. That's November 22nd. So that's hitting for Thanksgiving this year. All right. Now we have next on our list where it's Beetlejuice. I'm looking at where, Doug, you and I both ranked it at number 6. So fitting for a movie called Beetlejuice. We could just talk about it simultaneously.
There you go. We'll just say our thoughts at the same time, and that won't be confusing at all.
Exactly. Now we'll just go back and forth. We'll spitball about this film. No, this is a long one long in the waiting or wait. What was
98. So it's been
88.
Long awaited.
So it's just long awaited. Yes. This will be 36.
That's right.
This will be 36 years after the initial film's release. You got a lot of the cast back with Michael Keaton, Catherine O'Hara, Winona Ryder. They're all back. Then you've got Tim Burton back directing, Danny Elfman doing the score again, using a lot of practical effects. We got Jenna Ortega joining the cast, Justin Theroux, Monica Bellucci, Willem Dafoe. I mean, there's a lot of pros in this. What I'm fucking terrified of is that this is like The Flash all over again. And like, it's a long-awaited Michael Keaton return, and like, it's good, but it like doesn't truly live up to like
this is
what it should be.
This is so different than that.
It is different in many ways. Like,
you've got like Keaton was back, but it wasn't like Tim Burton.
Yeah.
Batman, like it was just like a completely different property that he came back for. And I would argue he did a good job. It was just so, I mean, yeah, it's just good. I mean, the fact that it's been so long, you never know, but I feel like Keaton's still got it in him to deliver the performance. And I think, the cast that they have, old and new, is good. And having Danny Elfman back on the score. I mean, the only thing that where this could fall apart, I guess, is if the script isn't up to like form. But
do either of you watch Wednesday? It's the people that he works with on Wednesday, that Tim Burton works with on Wednesday.
I've seen it. Yeah, it's kind of like CW. They would, but that's what it's supposed to be. I think. I don't know that they do that for for this, but yeah, that's not great. I didn't realize that it was the Wednesday people.
Yeah, and it's from a story by Seth Grahame-Smith. He wrote Pride and Prejudice and Zombies, Abraham Lincoln, Vampire Hunter, the books, not the movies. I mean, he may have wrote the scripts of the movies, but I know him as an author. But I mean, yeah, it's got a lot in its favor. I mean, the casting of Jenna Ortega as Winona Ryder's daughter is like too perfect. I'm interested to see how Catherine O'Hara plays off both Winona Ryder and Jenna Ortega at this point in time. I'm wondering how much more screen time Michael Keaton gets, because he's only in like 15 minutes of the original film. They're just spread out, and every scene is perfect that he's in. So like, he makes a big impression with very little, despite being the titular character. But yeah, I mean, the marketing so far has been killer with the poster being a throwback to one of the famous scenes from the original movie. It does come out on September 6th of this year. And I mean, I love the title, Beetlejuice. So far they're doing it. So far they're doing everything right, in my opinion. Hopefully we get a trailer or teaser trailer pretty soon. The fact that we've already got a teaser poster makes me believe a teaser trailer can't be too far along.
We should
we'll
be
get
getting a bunch of
surprise at
trailers
the Super
for
Bowl.
Super Bowl.
Yeah, we should be getting some new marketing for films that we haven't seen anything from yet, and we should also be getting more marketing for films we have seen. Hopefully, Beetlejuice is one of them. But yeah, I love the original. Fucking loved it since I was a kid, and that's why I had it as high as I did on my list. Among all those other reasons, I spat it out. Corey, you looking forward to this one? You a big fan of the first one?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't watched the first one probably at least as long as I haven't seen Gladiator, 10 years, probably more. So I need to rewatch it. But I'm definitely excited for it. I loved the original when I was a kid. Just kind of cautiously optimistic again. Like, I'm excited, but
cautiously optimistic is a good word.
It could very easily just not be good. Very easily.
It could shit the bed easily.
Yeah. So
hopefully
it doesn't do that.
I saw the first one in Dolby this fall or winter. Can't keep track. And it still holds up masterfully well. And again, the fact that they're going to practical effects and everything, rebuilding like the sets from the first movie, and they look like perfect. I'm excited. I'm hoping this is a very strong return to form for Tim Burton, because when I was a kid, he was one of my favorite directors, and he's unfortunately hasn't had the greatest 21st century. But hopefully things change this year. All right. That leaves us with our number one film for tier 2. Corey had it at number 10 and I had it at number 1. So I will talk about it first. It is Maxine. This is the final film in the X trilogy by Ty West. Mia Goth being the most important actor in these films. If you're not familiar with the films, there has been X, which was set in the 1970s, and Pearl, which was set in the late teens of the 1900s. In X, she plays two characters. In Pearl, she plays a younger version of one character. Now in this movie, Maxine, she's playing the younger character that she played in X. X was a horror slasher film, similar to like Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Pearl was like kind of like a Technicolor Wizard of Oz horror like show. I don't even know how you fucking describe that film. It's so damn cool. And then with a masterful performance by Mia Goth. And now Maxine is set in the mid 1980s in Hollywood. So they're getting straying away from the Texas location that was farmhouse location they were in for both X and Pearl, which were both shot during the pandemic. And now they're heading out to Hollywood, where Maxine is looking to finally become a star in the porno industry. This one is supposed to be like a fucking bloody, like Italian horror type movie. But A24 produces this one again. But this one's got like by far the biggest cast. You've got Mia Goth back, Elizabeth Debicki, Michelle Monaghan, Bobby Cannavale, Halsey, Giancarlo Esposito, Kevin Bacon, Lily Collins. So it's got an awesome cast. The release date has yet to be announced. I've heard that rumors have been saying that a first trailer, a real teaser with footage, will be coming this Sunday during the Super Bowl. Online only, not during the Super Bowl. A24 is not shelling out that money for the Super Bowl. But yeah, I'm excited to see how the X trilogy wraps up because each of them are so unique. But the one thing that you're getting is a killer Mia Goth performance. And I mean, if you see X, you're lucky enough to get two killer performances from her. Corey, you had it on your list as well.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very interested to see like how how this one plays out, as far as the story, where the story goes, but also like, the overall just like theme of it, because the first two are just so different from each other. Um, so I guess this one, I don't even know. Is it going to be like, more of a straight up slasher movie? It's I think it's going to be it's going to be very very interesting to see, and the performances are going to be great. Like you said, Mia Goth. So I'm anticipating a trailer, big time.
Yeah, absolutely. Doug, you've seen both X and Pearl. I know you're a bigger fan of Pearl. You looking forward to this one still?
Yeah, I mean, I'll watch it when it comes out to rent, but yeah, I'm not like it's not near my top 10, maybe top 20, but
That's fair.
yeah. What's up with all these like? Did you see that?
Yeah, it's
Yeah, I
thumbs
don't.
up showing up on Corey's screen.
I think that's something with Mac, with the new
You have some sort
it's
of
like gestures, but I'm
I
not
don't
doing
know.
anything.
It's weird.
So yeah.
Very strange. Well,
Okay.
I guess summing up the fact that it's in your top 20 and that you plan to see it when it's on video.
Yeah, no, I'll
Um,
definitely see it when I can rent it. But not dying to go out to theaters to see it. But yeah,
That's fair.
Pro was entertaining.
All right. Then let's get into our tier one films. There's 5 of them. So these 5 films were on, I guess just quick recap of tier 2. These were on 2 of each of our lists. Gladiator 2, number 4, Civil War, number 3, Beetlejuice, number 2, and Maxine, number 1. Tier 1 films, there's 5 of them. They're on all 3 of our lists. We'll start with number 5, Corey. You had this at number 1, and Doug and I had it at number 10. So how about you talk about Nosferatu?
Sure. So this is director, writer Robert Eggers' newest film. He directed The Witch, The Vitch. He directed The Northman, which came out, I guess, at this point almost 2 years ago. This is a reinterpretation of the classic monster Nosferatu, more or less just a vampire. In that tale,
Dracula,
it's
Dracula ripoff, essentially.
yeah. I'm not too familiar with Nosferatu. I've never actually seen the original. I've heard I've seen the pictures.
Yeah.
Like it's classic, creepy vampire. What is it? Bela Lugosi? No, not Bela Lugosi. I don't even know who it was.
Bela
He played
Lugosi
was Dracula.
Dracula.
Yeah. But this, based on like Robert Eggers' previous films, I've loved every single one of them. This looks like it's gonna be very creepy. It's got Willem Dafoe, Nicholas Hoult, Aaron Taylor Johnson, Bill Skarsgård, who is playing Nosferatu, Lily Rose Depp. Like, it's got a great cast. I'm trying to think if I don't really recognize anyone else on the cast, but this is shaping up to be a pretty wild ride. So this is like my number 1. We haven't gotten a trailer for it yet. Hopefully we get something more soon. I assume because this movie comes out, on Christmas Day, we probably won't actually have like an official trailer for a while, but we keep getting
we ain't getting shit for a long time, other than some photos.
Yeah. Would like to see like an actual photo of Bill Skarsgård, as the creepy vampire, because he does creepy very well. He's Pennywise in It. Just overall creepy performances, and he's a great actor. So very excited. And period piece too, which Eggers does very well. He goes all in on making things as accurate as possible for the period, to like dizzying extent, especially like with the Dorfman. Now I imagine this one is probably his most expensive to date to make.
May or may not. Northman was pretty big budget.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see once it's all said and done.
Northman was $70-90 million budget.
I'm surprised at that. I thought it would have been more.
I'm not surprised. I'm not sure what this budget is yet, but it could be. His budgets have strayed away from A24 from his first two films, The Witch and The Lighthouse.
The Lighthouse was one that was another one that I missed.
Yeah, so you got him working with Buddy Willem Dafoe again. Sucks that Anya Taylor-Joy couldn't do the film because of scheduling conflicts. I imagine she would have played Lily Rose Depp's role, either hers or Emma Corrin's role. But what are you gonna do? I think that's the only thing I'm disappointed about as far as this film coming out. But yeah, hyped for Eggers' fourth film. I have not seen the original Nosferatu, but obviously I'm familiar with them based on film history and everything like that. I mean, he's like you were talking about Art the Clown earlier. Like you've probably seen a picture of Nosferatu at some point in your life, or
creepy vampire.
Yeah, very much looking forward to this. Christmas, weird release date, but I'll be there some point over the week of Christmas.
Yeah, it's such a weird release date, but it'll probably work.
And Doug, this was on your list too. So, any thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I think yeah, I mean, Robert Eggers has been like hit or miss for me, but
where do you hit and miss?
Like, The Vitch isn't really my favorite. I didn't like that at all. The Northman.
You couldn't understand what they were saying, right?
Yeah, you can't understand what they're saying. I thought the story wasn't that great. I don't know, it just kind of like didn't really work for me. Northman was a lot better. Which is what I would consider the hit, and I haven't seen The Lighthouse. So,
have any of us seen The Lighthouse? None of us have, right?
I don't even know why I haven't. I want to. I just haven't actually sat down and watched it.
It feels more like the Witch, and like the accents seem like they're going to be annoying, which is why I haven't watched it.
Yeah, well,
but I guess I could just turn the subtitles on.
It's playing at AMC this month. In 2 weeks, A24 and AMC are doing what they did back in October, where they do like one of their movies each week during a certain month. This is revolved around like love. So I don't know. I haven't seen The Lighthouse. Not exactly sure what I'm getting with there, but Lighthouse is one of the 4 films, so I'm catching it this month the same way I finally caught The Witch back in October when they did the same thing back then. But yeah, I'm excited to see that, and then I'll be all caught up on his films for Nosferatu. But he's 2 for 2 for me so far. All right, based on your blank expressions, I will move on to number 4. Where do we have it ranked for everyone? All right. It's number 8 for Corey.
It's probably me.
Number 3 for Doug, and number 7 for me. So, Doug, talk about Abigail.
Yeah, so Abigail is a movie by the directors that did Ready or Not. They're not. I wouldn't consider them like household names, which is why I'm gonna not say their names.
Just say Radio Silence. Everyone just
everyone just goes with Radio Silence. The concept seems pretty cool in that it's well, first off, the cast seems pretty great. You got Catherine Newton, Dan Stevens, Giancarlo Esposito, Melissa Barrera, and then Angus Cloud is this his final performance?
Nah, he's got I think like 3 movies this year.
Okay, so one of the late Angus Cloud's final performances, who was great on Euphoria. But the concept seems pretty cool. It's a group of individuals seek to kidnap a little girl ballerina, and hold her ransom. But little do they know that the little girl ballerina that they're trying to kidnap is actually a vampire and is going to try to hunt what seems like each one of them down until it's probably one character versus Abigail the vampire, and that character has to like face off in a what I would only imagine to be like a Ready or Not type of situation where they're fighting for their survival, and they're kind of a badass by the end of it. So yeah, I mean, I loved Ready or Not when it came out. It was one of my favorite movies of that year.
And it even made you like the Scream movies.
Yeah, and they've been pretty good with the Scream movies, so this is definitely one I'm looking forward to, and I just think it's a fun concept, and I'm sure it's going to be like they have fun with these movies, so it's not going to take itself too seriously, but it'll still there'll be plenty of gore and action. So yeah, I'm excited for this.
Me as well.
It actually does have one of the writers of Ready or Not, which is actually so that's a good thing. Who's one of like Team Radio Silence as well.
Yeah, I mean the trailer looked fun, and I was like, this feels a lot like Ready or Not.
Yeah. Yeah, it comes out April 19th. I'm liking what Universal's been doing with like their monsters lately. Ever since I guess Invisible Man. Like this one's a reimagining of like the classic Universal monster film, Dracula's Daughter. When I say classic, I just sort of mean the classic Universal monster movies as a whole. I think my dad didn't even know about this movie when I referenced it to him. But like they're doing interesting things. Like Invisible Man was a very cool like reimagination of the character. I know they're doing the Wolfman later this year. So like they whiffed big time with like that whole dark universe that they attempted with Mummy, and they never got past the Mummy, or I guess Dracula Untold.
Dracula Untold was part of it. Yeah.
It was technically part of it, but I think technically was retconned it into it like after the fact.
I like The Mummy. I don't understand why people didn't like that movie.
I haven't seen it yet, so I can't judge. But I know like people didn't.
It has one of the craziest Tom Cruise action scenes where this like plane is crashing, and they just kind of like filmed this plane nosediving like a million times in order to. It's got one of like the coolest stunts I've seen.
Yeah,
it's not a bad
movie. I definitely plan on seeing it.
It's really not a bad movie. I never understood the hate.
But no, I definitely have to check out The Mummy. I mean, I imagine we're eventually going to get a Brendan Fraser Mummy 4 at some point. And that's how they'll bring back The Mummy into theaters. But they're not going with the whole interconnected universe. I guess they'll do that at their Universal Epic Universe park, where they have their dark universe. How fucking weird is that? So Universal has Epic Universe, and in Epic Universe you have the Dark Universe. That it's a lot of universes all in one. But like you, Doug, Ready or Not, fucking loved. It was my number one or number two movie. I think it was my number two movie of 2020 or 2019. It was the olden times. And then I've loved what they did with Scream 5 and 6. So can't wait for this one. Still annoyed Corey got it in the draft. That it actually is coming out. But we'll get to the draft and box office stuff later. And Corey, do you have anything else you want to add to this one? I know you're excited for it as well.
No, I mean, I don't have anything additional. I just, it's definitely something I'm really looking forward to.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, then let's do our number 3 film. This was number 5 on Doug's list, number 4 on my list, and number 3 on Corey's list. So, Corey, talk about Furiosa, a Mad Max Saga.
Sure. So this is a prequel and follow-up to George Miller's continuation of the Mad Max universe. This is a prequel to the last one that came out, Fury Road, where Tom Hardy and Charlize Theron starred in it. Charlize Theron's character, Furiosa, is who we follow in this one as a young lady, and it's acted by Anya Taylor-Joy. Chris Hemsworth is in it. I think trying to think who else. I know aren't a bunch of the actors from Fury Road actually returning.
They've got some actors back, like Angus Sampson, who many people probably know from the Insidious franchise. He's back as the organic mechanic. I'm sure there's others as well, but I mean, the biggest character that's returning is a different actor. The 2 biggest characters that are returning are different actors in Furiosa and Immortan Joe. I mean, ultimately, it's going to come down to how does Anya Taylor-Joy stack up compared to Charlize Theron in Fury Road, and how do the action set pieces stand up to the ones in Fury Road? Because, I mean, that's probably the best action film of the last decade.
Mm-hmm.
As far as just pure action goes.
Mm-hmm.
It very much looks similar, like in aesthetic and everything like that. It doesn't look like the original trilogy. It very much looks like Fury Road in everything they are doing so far that they've shown us. But I'm just hyped to see Anya Taylor-Joy and Chris Hemsworth go at it. Hemsworth looks like a blast based on the makeup and the accent that he has in this film. Really excited to see what George Miller, what he can bring to the table with his original franchise, his first fucking film. And he's almost 80 years old and he's still doing action better than basically anyone. So I'm hyped for its May 24th release date. So Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes got out of the way of Mad Max by moving up a couple weeks.
I think it's really cool that he is continuing, the same aesthetic, because Fury Road, like it just had such a distinct look to it. The way he filmed it, the way the movie was shot, the frame rate, it was, sped up. He's continuing that in this one, which it feels like a prequel, feels like a connected story. And hopefully we get another one after this, which I think is the rumor.
Yeah, his goal, he wants to do a Fury Road follow-up after this one, which would continue Tom Hardy and Charlize Theron's story. But I guess my only concern would be it looks too similar to Fury Road. But I imagine that's just what he's doing to get people butts in the seats. And it'll tell its own story. But Road Warrior basically did the same thing as Mad Max, but it leveled it up. I don't know if it's humanly possible to level up Fury Road, but if it's similar sort of case, that'll be fucking awesome. Doug, any words about Furiosa?
No, only thing is, Fury Road, like you said, is probably one of the best action movies of all time. So definitely got big shoes to fill, but as long as it's somewhat close, it doesn't have to be quite as good. I think it'll be still a great movie.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, no.
I'm looking
definitely
forward to it. I'm just a little.
not saying, oh man, if it's fucking not as good as Fury Road, I'm really disappointed.
Yeah. But yeah, it's gotta. There's definitely a lot of pressure to try to like one up what came before it, as you try to do whenever you know make another movie. So
100%.
I'll definitely be interested to see if they can top or try to top what they did in Fury Road.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on to number 2 then. We've got Corey ranking it at number 4.
It's gonna
Me ranking it at number 3, and Doug ranking it at number 1. Doug, talk to us about the untitled Deadpool threequel.
Yeah, I mean, Deadpool 3, we don't know a ton about it other than it's going to be a fucking cameo fest. Main two characters or main two actors seem to be Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman. Ryan Reynolds reprising his role as Wade Wilson / Deadpool, and then Hugh Jackman reprising his role as Logan / Wolverine. I just have a I think a lot of us know the rumor of this movie is that it's going to be like Deadpool kills the Fox universe or some version of that.
I haven't heard that exactly, but I know the whole. I've seen photos of like the Fox logos looking like fucking
Right,
Statue of Liberty and Planet of the Apes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
It's
seems
like
like
all
it's
disheveled and
we
broken.
know we're getting a lot of Fox cameos.
Yeah.
Multiverse.
right. It seems like Disney's gonna really flex the fact that they now own Fox, and we're gonna see probably cameos from all of as many Fox franchises or Fox X like superhero franchises as we
Everyone.
can. Like Fantastic Four, X-Men, like it's gonna be like the works.
Daredevil, Electra,
Yeah, I mean they could just go all out. So
and
I just feel like it's gonna
they could fucking bring everyone from the MCU now too.
Yep.
they could. I don't think they're going
Deadpool is
to.
in the MCU,
Yeah.
R-rated MCU. This is fucking huge.
And we're going to be getting a first ever red band for this movie too, from what I heard. I don't know if it's the Super Bowl trailer, but we're going to be getting a red band trailer. Yeah, first ever for Disney in the MCU. But
Yeah,
Nice.
I just think it's gonna be. I think it's gonna wind up being a lot of fun, and the fact that they're. I just think it seems like it's gonna be kind of crazy with the amount of cameos and stuff. I know that's been overblown or overdone a little bit by the MCU of like things becoming like
They'll make
cameo
it work.
fests.
They'll make it work.
But I feel like this is gonna. Yeah, I feel like this is gonna be more of like a No Way Home, where
yeah, I don't have any doubt.
you know you're happy. It's just like it's just gonna be like that high in the movie theater of just seeing like awesomeness on the screen. So
And just like with the meta humor and breaking the fourth wall and stuff, they'll make it work in ways that like you can't necessarily make it work, and like it comes off disappointing in some other ones. But yeah, I'm expecting it to be more like a No Way Home, like everyone's cheering and like just good vibes.
yeah,
And I like the fact
So-
that like despite the fact that it's moving to the MCU, like all the regular Deadpool characters and actors are pretty much back. Like Miranda Baccarin is back as Vanessa. Brianna Brand is back as Negasonic Teenage Warhead. You got Blind Al back. Dopinder back. Colossus is back. Yukio is back. Peter is back. Basically, everyone is back, with the exception of Domino. Who was who was Josh Brolin in Deadpool 2?
Cable.
Cable.
Domino Cable from Deadpool 2, and then the Weasel from 1 and 2, because that's just because of TJ Miller. That has nothing to do with the character. That was the character's name, right? In Deadpool, is Weasel?
Dopinder?
No.
Oh,
Weasel is the
Yeah, I don't
character.
remember.
TJ Miller's character, right?
yeah.
Okay.
And then we get Wolverine in the classic yellow and blue. which
Finally, took fucking long enough.
is kind of
Hopefully
awesome.
It's
Hopefully
only
he has
taken
the mask.
fucking a quarter of a century to get it.
Yeah. Will he
They
be in the
teased
map?
it.
For fuck's sake. Yeah,
They teased it in the Wolverine or whatever, where he opens the
Wolverine,
box and
Wolverine deleted scene.
Yeah.
yeah.
Wait,
Um,
no. Didn't we get
or a post-credit scene.
Yeah, it
and-
was a post-credit scene, a form of it. There was a deleted scene that was extended, but it was an end credit scene.
The end credit scene of Wolverine it sets up Days of Future Past and it has Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen in an airport. So I can't recall if he actually saw it or not in the Wolverine.
I thought there was the end of the Wolverine, one of the after
I
credits.
guess you did.
He opens the box.
Yeah, I know I've seen the
And
scene.
there's like the outfit.
Yeah, no, you're both saying, so it must be true. New actors. You got Emma Corrin, also Nosferatu, Matthew McFadden from Succession. He's in it. Dogpool will be in the film. Jennifer Garner's confirmed to be Elektra. And then other than that, I think that's all the official confirmation so far. But I mean, who are you hoping the most appears in this that hasn't been announced? I'm between Ben Affleck as Daredevil and Chris Evans as Johnny Storm.
Yeah.
Those will both be good. I don't see how you don't get Ben Affleck back as Daredevil. I feel like you have to.
Yeah. It'd be fucking great. He'll be great.
The problem is like,
and if you bring back Ben Affleck, you can have fucking him and Ryan Reynolds joking about DC.
Yeah.
Because they're Batman and Green Lantern.
Yep.
Yeah, and then Chris Evans, you can like kind of joke about the fact that he's Captain America in the MCU.
They're like my two, like, really hope they fucking appear in it.
It would, for Chris Evans, it would be funny if he just goes, I could do this all day. Like something like that. Some play on that.
They're gonna do shit like that. Like they gotta just go fucking crazy with this one.
Fucking wacky.
Yeah, and I could see Chris Evans being down for it and Affleck. I think, getting Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman, I just feel like they can pull probably a lot of cameos.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I'm sure Patrick Stewart will pop up again.
It seemed like
he doesn't seem to say no to those cameos.
And I don't think he was.
I'll play Picard and Professor X until the day I die.
Yeah, and I don't think he was happy. He wasn't happy. I know he wasn't happy with his cameo in Doctor Strange. So
he just got like killed.
Yeah, so maybe he'd probably be all for another one as long as it was more satisfying.
Yeah.
All right. July 26th, our only MCU movie of the year. This is a big one. This is a fucking huge film for Disney.
They have to land this. This has to make a boatload of money.
Yeah, this is like the big one for them. If the amount of shit they'll get if this movie flops or like even disappoints is going to be bad.
If this movie isn't huge, then
two films they have overall this year, and just how last year went so terribly for them.
Which is wild to me how they're
Marvel narrative.
Yeah, how they're putting this movie together so fast. Like they're really pushing this out fast.
Yeah. Well, the good thing was they got a bunch done before the strikes too.
Yeah.
So like that's like Gladiator 2, 50% of the movie was edited before like they went back to resuming filming of the film this year. They edited everything that they had done. So I imagine it was a similar type of situation with Deadpool. But and maybe we'll get Taylor Swift in it. That's been a rumor as well, and that'll add fucking more money to it. So we're gonna have to come up with some sort of box office stipulation this summer, I think, for Deadpool 3.
Because it's like limitless. I feel like this one.
Yeah, like this could go really high. But all right. Let's talk about our number one film. It was on each of our lists last year as well. Part of me thinks it's our number one movie because it comes out so soon and we have heard so much positive buzz about it. It was definitely going to be high regardless. We all had it at number 2. So let's talk about Dune Part 2. Who wants to start? Or you read Dune, so fucking you start.
Yeah, no, I can start. It's the second part to Denis Villeneuve's adaptation of the Dune book. So he decided to split it into 2 parts. For not sure why, but I mean, there's a lot to go on with this movie. So the first one ends in the cliffhanger. So this is the second part, really like the Empire Strikes Back of that story. And you know, most of the characters are returning. It's going to be a lot of action. I think a lot of people that are catching up with this movie. This movie did pretty well in theaters, but I think a lot of people have caught up with it now on VOD, DVD, Blu-ray. So a lot of people are amped to see how this story concludes.
They are amped.
Are
they more amped for the movie or to fuck the AMC popcorn bucket?
Debatable.
We'll find out in 3 weeks.
Yeah, debatable. Is that an AMC bucket or was it Cinemark?
That's AMC.
It's AMC. That
was such a
sickos
design.
Yeah, sickos. They should have saw that coming. Idiots.
For anyone who's not aware, look up the AMC exclusive Dune 2 sandworm popcorn bucket.
I read like because of that design, you like can't really get the popcorn out with that lid on.
It doesn't look really
because your like hands kind of like trapped.
So ridiculous. Also, 2 movies from Warner Brothers with sandworms in it this year, and both in our top 10 or whatever you want to call it, with Beetlejuice, and Dune Part 2. Sandworms are back, but in all seriousness, yeah, right. Or are they ever gone? In all seriousness, this is gonna look incredible in IMAX. Like Dune Part 1 was very clearly like an appetizer for what we're getting with Part 2. Like Part 2 just looks like a fucking epic sci-fi movie. Obviously, I don't know shit. I haven't read the books or anything, but from what I've heard, we're getting like from Christopher Nolan's mouth, the God's ears. This is like an Empire Strikes Back sequel.
Yeah.
And we're definitely getting a Dune 3 based on everything we've been hearing. So like this isn't the end. This is like a middle chapter of a trilogy, yet it's also like an end of a story in a way because it's the second part of the first book. So I'm interested to see how that is completely framed and how this movie ends. But yeah, just the returning actors and then the new actors, they're a part of it. I mean, it's a murderer's row of a cast. Corey, did you run through the cast?
I didn't. I will. Right. There, I'll bring it up.
I got it up. I could just.
You got it up. All right.
Yeah, Timothy Chalamet, Zendaya, Rebecca Ferguson, Josh Brolin, Austin Butler, Florence Pugh, Dave Bautista, Christopher Walken, Stephen McKinley Henderson, Lea Seydoux, Stellan Skarsgård, Charlotte Rampling, Javier Bardem. That is a fucking cast. And based on that first movie, I don't like anyone seems disposable. Like I don't know who actually like is guaranteed to live. They killed off who? Oscar Isaac. All right, if you have not seen this movie, you should not like the first part. Please don't pay attention to anything else I'm saying right now. They killed off some huge actors in the first one. Oscar Isaac, Jason Momoa. Those are the 2 biggest. But there were plenty of other like big actors that were on the poster that died in that first movie as well.
Big actors that were on the poster that weren't in the movie until the last like 5 minutes.
Yeah, Zendaya. She got more marketing time for Dune Part 1 than time in the actual movie. It's pretty impressive. But
she was in. They showed her face in most of the movie.
It was just like a flash to her face.
Yeah.
Yes.
Love to know how much time she spent filming, like a day.
Yeah. I saw someone like wrote online like Zendaya is like one of the last bankable actors in Hollywood. I'm like, what has she done in besides fucking Spider-Man and Dune? And Dune, she's not even in.
Yeah, that's not something I wouldn't be like. That's
Like,
the bankable
like
actor.
that. Like, I think she will be a bankable actor,
Yeah,
but she has not
she's
proven it yet. Right now,
challengers.
she is just a big part of franchises, and she is a big
Yeah.
part of a TV show. But that's besides the point. But yeah, I'm excited to see what Christopher Walken, Austin Butler, Florence Pugh, Leia Seydoux bring to the table, and then all the returning actors from the first film. And yeah, I mean Nolan, like the shilling that Nolan is doing for this Warner Brothers film, like fucking
They're back. They're back in bed
they're
together.
Yeah.
mending fences. They're building bridges are being built.
Yeah.
Off of the back of Dune Part 2.
He's coming back. Coming back to Warner Brothers.
He's got to come home. I love Oppenheimer, and Universal did it well, but he's got to come home. Sidetracking though. But yeah, no. We just saw that again in theaters a few weeks back. It looked beautiful. It's gonna look even. This one's gonna look even better because the entire movie is shot with IMAX cameras. Hans Zimmer's back. Yeah, I got nothing else to add. Doom Part 2. Doug, what do you got?
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited to see how that story ends. It's a little. The first movie feels very like unfinished, and
Yes,
that
It
the
is.
story doesn't finish.
It is. It doesn't feel it is.
The first one didn't end on a cliffhanger. The first movie just sort
No,
of
it's just like
just ended.
the film like just kind of ran out.
yeah.
Right when like the story, you're like, oh wow, I'm in now. I'm in on the
Yeah.
story, and they're like, but
See you in a few years.
yes,
Maybe we haven't even greenlit Part 2 yet.
man, thank God that's not all we got.
Yeah.
That would have been terrible.
But yeah, I mean, it's a beautiful movie. I think the ideas that they set up were interesting in the first one. Seems like the second one is gonna, be that ending and like kind of build up to the epicness where you feel like the first one is starting to build up to until it like just kind of cuts itself off. But yeah, we are really in it really does stop where like it's not a full movie.
No, it just stops. It was very
It's like
very
the hero's journey. It's like the character faces adversity, and then it's just like the end.
I don't know how Warner Brothers saw part 1 and they were like, yeah, this is a great idea. We're gonna fucking do this. Let's go. It's gonna work, but
It was fucking like if New Line just was like, all right, we'll film Fellowship of the Ring and hope things work out. Then maybe we'll do Two Towers and Return of the King.
But weren't they already filming like the other two parts?
Oh yeah, no, they did them all together. I'm saying
Yeah,
this would be like if they had chosen to just shoot Fellowship of the Ring.
Yeah.
Where the
And they
movie
were
like doesn't really have an ending.
I still go back to that and I'm like, holy shit, like that's just like what the fuck were they
They
thinking?
leave the Shire, and then it's just like the end of the story.
Like Fellowship of the Ring was very similar to Dune, where like it's that final scene where I'm like, I'm in now. I'm really in. And then directed by Peter Jackson.
See you in a year.
God damn it. Like at least with Two Towers, like it has like a monster ending that it's like, all right, I feel like I got like a fully formed film, even though it's like a middle chapter, similar to like Empire Strikes Back. But yeah,
well, because for the same reason, like that Fellowship of the Ring and Dune, like there was so much world building that they had to do to get people on board.
It's just weird in like doing it in a movie, but
I mean,
it'll all pay off.
I don't remember how The Hobbit ended, but I imagine it ended poorly like Dune, since that was a book that, unlike Lord of the Rings, which was a book trilogy as a book series, like they just split up one book into multiple parts. Also, Warner Brothers. But
It's gonna end
anyway.
up paying off. It's gonna end up paying off for sure.
I feel like the second one's gonna pay off on all the promises the first one made.
Yeah, no, it definitely will. And I guess shout out to Greg Fraser, the cinematographer, because goddamn, that first movie looks good. This one's gonna look great. Like he's looking like he's got like a Deakins type collaboration with Villeneuve, based on how they're working together so far. But yeah, March 1st. Bring your I was gonna say bring your lube, but fuck it.
Bring your lube.
Just use butter. Just use butter. You'll be fine. So yeah, that's it. To recap, our top 5 movies as a collective group were Nosferatu at number 5, Abigail at number 4, Furiosa at Mad Max Saga at number 3, Deadpool 3. We don't know if that's the official title. We'll find out soon enough at number 2, and Dune Part 2 at number 1. And now does everyone just want to do just run through quickly their individual top 10s?
Yeah, sure. 10, I had Maxine. 9, Bike Riders. 8, Abigail. 7, Civil War. 6, Alien Romulus. 5, Terrifier 3. 4, Deadpool 3. 3, Furiosa. 2, Dune Part 2. And number 1, Nosferatu.
All right, looking good. I'm so excited for all that. Doug, you're 10.
Number 10, Nosferatu. Number 9, Ghostbusters, Frozen Empire. Number 8, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. Yeah, that's right. 7, Gladiator 2. 6, Beetlejuice. 5, Furiosa, a Mad Max Saga. 4, Mickey 17. 3, Abigail. 2, Dune Part 2. And 1, Deadpool 3.
Very good. I like your list.
Frozen Kingdom.
Yeah, right. And then my top 10, number 10, Nosferatu. Number 9, Gladiator 2. Number 8, Civil War. Number 7, Abigail. Number 6, Beetlejuice. Number 5, Joker, Folie. Number 4, Furiosa, Mad Max Saga. Number 3, Deadpool 3. Number 2, Dune Part 2. And number 1, Maxine. So,
hell of a lot of great movies to look forward to.
Plenty of others that didn't make the list, but we'll talk about them throughout the year. But that's all we got today regarding our main topic. Thank you again for listening. Please follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and X. Subscribe on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, etc. And now just hang out if you're interested in hearing a little bit about our winter-spring box office pool and how the box office has been going so far. All right, guys, not too much to talk about here. 5 of our movies have come out. I'm currently in 3rd place with 17 million. Only one film has come out, Argyle. Unfortunately, that was the first pick I drafted, first film I drafted. So big stinkeroonie for me to continue the last year or so of my drafts. I've got Lisa Frankenstein opening this week. Hope maybe Argyle can pull some more money in. Corey, you are in 2nd place at the moment with 50 million, with both The Beekeeper and Soul. 49 million of that coming from The Beekeeper and 1 million of that coming from Soul. So it does not look like you're
The Soul 1 million. Sorry.
Your 3 Pixar re-releases are going to be bringing you much more than $3 million.
I hope so.
We will see. And then, but Beekeeper definitely overperformed.
Beekeeper overperformed in my opinion. That's awesome.
Yes, it makes up for
very much so.
Pixar films. And you have Turning Red, the second of your Pixar re-releases, coming out this weekend. So we'll see how that does. And
probably not great.
Probably not.
Probably not great. And then Doug, you are currently in 1st place with 67 million.
How's my Miller Scrolls doing?
67 million of it coming from me, Less than $1 million coming from Miller's Girl.
How much less do we know?
I believe it's 300,000 coming from
What? It only made $300,000
from Miller's Girl. Yes,
shit.
Soul looks like a massive hit in comparison. But
Damn.
Doug has Dune Part 2. He has Ghostbusters. Don't cry for him. He's easily the favorite.
You left out. I've got Madam Web coming out.
Oh, that
You
movie.
got Madam Web
Valentine's Day.
Yeah, it's got Madam
Fire.
Web coming up pretty soon.
Fire.
But Mean Girl, solid performance. It's not going to. It had a much bigger opening, or a bigger opening. It was pacing ahead of the original during its first couple weeks, but it's not going to make as much as the original in the long run. But still, it's six. I was going to look up its number, but I'm like, wait, I don't have to. Miller's Girl didn't make $1 million. It's $67 million. Is not bad at all. So yeah, we will report back probably after Madam Web turning red, or Madam Red. Madam Web turning red.
That's a tongue twister.
Lisa Frankenstein, Bob Marley, One Love, Ordinary Angels. After all those movies come out, and Drive Away Dolls, probably. There's a lot coming out over the next 2 weeks. So we'll see how that shakes things up before Dune Part 2 comes out and completely just ends the purpose of this draft, of this pool.
We'll see.
Yeah, fuck you. We will see. It's going to make so much money. You know, everyone
I don't hear a lot of people like talking about Dune.
Doug, it's gonna make a ton of money. Like, you're silly.
I saw the
I think
65.
it'll make.
I'm just
65 was the 3 week out projection today for the opening weekend. That's
How much?
conservative. 65. That's conservative as shit. It is definitely going to be well above that.
I'm just hoping that it doesn't make more than the first part, but it's going to. It's going to.
Like, oh, it's gonna blow away the first part.
Yeah,
It's gonna make double the first part.
Yeah, because the first part was day and date too.
exactly.
So.
Maybe it might even make triple.
It could. I mean,
Yep.
We'll see. There is some competition coming out after with Godzilla and Ghostbusters. So in similar nerdy genres. But we'll report back with how things are going in a couple weeks. But as always, this has been Corey, Doug, and Murph at Live Breathe Film. We'll see you again next time, film fans.
Bye.
See you later, Twitch.
Goodbye, Twitch.